he'll smack a bitch in the mouth. Mosquitoes owe him blood. He once put a hit out on his reflection for looking at it wrong. Did y'all know that he owned the word shit?
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Millennial Smark, and I'm bringing you the slop, the whole slop, and nothing but the slop. What the fuck is going on with Bret Hart lately? What is going on? And what is going on? I am dropping 2 Bret Hart related news videos in 2025. Not reviewing any old shows, not reviewing any matches, not any watch-alongs. No, current news in 2025. We have 2 Bret Hart related videos in 1 week. Is this like some type of old man thing that's going on with Bret? Like, but it goes even beyond that. Like, you know, the stereotypical, I walked 45 miles in the snow barefooted and I had AIDS. So many AIDS and cancer. And it was thundering and lightning and the car drove by and he threw water on me and shit. Like, it's like, take that and like times it by 10 when fucking with Bret. Oh my lord, have mercy. I got 2 articles I want to read for you guys because yes, it was multiple things Bret said that really caught my attention and made me go, what the fuck is going on here? So let's start off with this one right here, okay? Bret the Hitman Hart isn't shy about where he stands in the current state of professional wrestling, and he thinks the industry could learn a lot by looking back at his own in-ring style. Now you might think to yourself, Devontae, what's wrong with that? Yeah, most wrestlers should go out of their way to emulate Bret Hart. Well, hang on for a second. Let's keep reading. Speaking on the Masked Man Wrestling show, Hart said he's honored when wrestlers today reach out to let him know they want to pay tribute to him on television, and he has no problem with them using his moves now that he's retired. And I quote, he said, "A lot of guys give me the courtesy of calling me and asking me, saying, would it be okay if we do this on TV? We want to do this as a sign of respect, but I wanted to ask you first. I don't want to steal your moves without asking. After you retire, it's fair game. They can help themselves to all my moves. I don't need them anymore." I take it as a compliment, and whenever I watch wrestling and I see something that is obviously a salute, I take it as a huge compliment. Okay, so you know, nothing too, a bit narcissistic, you know, like all your moves, but not everything that you do in your matches are technically all your moves. You know what I mean? I mean, even the sharpshooter technically isn't your move. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, it was Ricky Chozo. He was the first person to use it. He used it back in Japan. That's where it originated from. As a matter of fact, hell, even in the United States, Bret, I mean, I don't know if anyone recognized this, but I mean, it was Sting. Sting used the sharpshooter before Bret did, in the United States at least, from what I'm aware of. Sting used it before Bret, but okay, like I said, it's rather harmless of what he's saying right now. Nothing that's too egregious, right? But it gets so much better because he just flats out. And I quote says, and again, I love you, Bret, but seriously, you're such a fucking mark. He goes, they'd all be a lot better off if they copied me more. Just flat out. And look, is Bret wrong in the sense that wrestlers probably should slow it down, tell more of a story? Like I said, I'm a huge advocate for Bret. I'm a huge advocate for his wrestling. What I'm not a huge advocate for is this petulant fucking behavior as a goddamn child. Like, what, dude, like, does it have to be said that you should, like, tooting your own horn? Like, you like, how, look, Bret is awesome, but he must be one of the most annoying people to be around in real life. There's no way someone can stand 2 seconds being in a room with Bret Hart before he starts sucking off his own dick. Like, my dude, can you imagine being Bret Hart's sons or kids or whatever, and him having to give you a driver's instructor course, and him having to be in the passenger seat while you're driving, wearing sunglasses and this fucking jacket while telling you to turn left, and then when you turn left, no, right, you fucking moron, you fucking mongoose, okay, you kangaroo dickhead, like, can you imagine? I can only imagine, bruh. But it gets even better, right? Because this right here, the copying thing, that was kind of like something that kind of crossed my radar while prepping for this video. Then I this is the main reason why I made the video. It gets so much better, and it's like, Bret, you are not owed everything in life simply because you're fucking Bret Hart. Oh my lord. This is another article. Bret Hart has hinted that WWE superstars, hold up, the ad just popped up. Oh, excuse me. Bret has hinted that WWE disrespected him at SummerSlam 2025. Hart, who lives in Canada, thank you for that, by the way, article, was invited to the MetLife Stadium by the company. As per Hart, WWE told him that they didn't have any seats. Hart saw Kevin Nash sitting in the crowd, a three-time WWE Hall of Famer. Hart made his previous on-screen appearance at the 2025 Hall of Fame ceremony, which took place before WrestleMania 41. Speaking to Being the Elite fan page, Hart revealed, "They invited me down for SummerSlam, and the people from WWE told me they wanted me to be in the crowd. Then, once I got there, they told me they didn't have any seats. I noticed that Kevin Nash got a seat. I don't feel that WWE really appreciates me. Even after Hulk's passing." I didn't even see that. wait. Give me a second. Hang on. All right, sorry about that. I lost my shit. I did not see that last line there originally. They had to just add that shit there. Or I'm blind as a fucking bat, bro. I did not see that part. This man said, "I noticed Kevin Nash got a seat. I don't feel that WWE really appreciates me, even after Hulk's passing. There's no appreciation for anything I did." This man took Hulk Hogan's passing and was like, nah, fuck Hogan. Worry about me. Where in the fuck is my seat? Give me my motherfucking chair. And it's, Bret, what the fuck is wrong with you? You egomaniac. Dude, what the fuck? So, let me get this straight, Bret. You showed up late, which is probably what happened, because everybody has a seat. As you said, Kevin Nash has a seat, meaning he either showed up early or he showed up on time. I can probably add context to that also, because you listen to people like Eric Bischoff and other wrestlers for that matter. Bret Hart is notorious for being very, very late to shows or late to rehearsals. So it seems like Mr. Respect the Business showed up late to get his fucking seat. Kevin Nash got his chair, and Bret Hart was essentially like, so like, you guys weren't just gonna like reserve a seat for me, period? Kevin Nash reserved his seat. Like, where the fuck is my chair? Bret, are you sure that Nash was reserved the chair? Are you sure about that? Because that's what it reads like. It reads like Bret Hart is looking at this like Kevin Nash was reserved the chair. No. Kevin Nash showed up and he sat the fuck down after being invited. You showed up. There were no seats available. No one's gonna hold a seat for you, Bret. He needs help. This is coming off of the heels of the comments that he said about Gunther and burying him. Just fucking burying him like it was nothing. Look, I get wanting to speak your mind. There's nothing wrong with necessarily speaking your mind, but there's gonna be a response to every time you say or do some reckless dumb fuckery, okay? I can't state this enough. I can't reiterate this enough. Bret Hart is probably the greatest in-ring performer that I've ever seen. Pound for pound. Bret Hart, for me, is one of the most influential wrestlers of all time. Bret Hart is indeed a legend. I think no one would question that. But the thing is, though, we know that, Bret. We understand that, Bret. We get that, Bret. Why do you have to constantly fucking go out of your way to tell us that? Not only tell us that, not only go out of your way to blow smoke up your ass half the time also, right? Because really, you go well and beyond the things that you say. And look, like I said, some of it actually is objectively true. It might sound preposterous, but you actually go back and you see people who are recounting the statements and hearing what Bret is saying. Like, you know, Bret Hart and Davey Boy at SummerSlam in '92, with Bulldog being high off a crack. and Bret having to get him through the match. Or I don't know if he got high off a crack. I don't know. Well, Bulldog was a crackhead, just, you know, objectively. I'm not speaking ill of the dead. He is actually legitimately, or was legitimately, an actual crackhead. I'm not sure of the drug of choice, or maybe he drunk or something like that. But he was under the influence when he was being carried through the match with Bret. I'm fucked, Bret. I'm fucked. And it's like, Bret has such an inflated ego, bruh. Even when he's actually making sense, even when he's logically saying something, like, for an example, wrestlers indeed should wrestle more like Bret. I think I even heard Brian Last, Jim Cornette's right-hand man. I think he says something along the lines of that when I was watching. Was it the watch-along with Bret and Austin at 13? I think even Brian Last said, yeah, more wrestlers should probably wrestle more like Bret Hart and less like Shawn Michaels. Not that he's dissing Shawn Michaels, but, I mean, if you take Shawn Michaels as the grandfather of that style of wrestling, then you probably have to say the grandsons and the granddaughters of that wrestling is the style that we have today, right? So I see where the sentiments come from. He's right in regards to the training. He's right in regards to the process. I'm just saying, even with the Gunther comments, he wasn't really entirely wrong. Again, he was wrong in my opinion in the sense of looking at a chop like it's the world's worst fucking move and conflating that with wrestlers should go out of their way to be able to wrestle in a manner where it's not actually hurting the wrestler, right? Legitimately hurting the wrestler. But I think that stems more from the fact that a wrestler shouldn't get injured, and you should probably go out of your way to not hurt your opponent necessarily. But like I said in that video, and it's going to be further, illustrated within this video, when it comes to Bret's ego and narcissism, I mean, some people in the comment section on that video was reminding me, no, Bret, you threw some potatoes out there also, okay? There were a lot of wrestlers who said the same thing about you, how you could lighten up a little tiny bit as far as the stuff that you were snugging in there and stiffing in there, pal. But again, the overall consensus in regards to Bret's point was, it would be nice if wrestlers would go out of their way to, maybe wrestle in a manner that doesn't involve you having to break someone's fucking neck to get a stupid ass spot over. Again, the sentiments make sense. Almost all of Bret's sentiments, for the most part, make sense. It's just the way he actually says it. People are like, Devontae, you're so soft. It has nothing to do with being soft. If someone came up to you, let's just say someone came up to you and they were outright right? There's no nooks and crannies. There's no having to look between the lines. They're just objectively right. And let's just say you said something that was objectively wrong. And they came to you and they were like, hey, stupid fuck. Mind you, this is not you. You didn't come at them any type of way. You didn't come at them crazy. You just said something that was wrong. You didn't know. You just said something that was wrong. And then someone confronts you on being wrong. Not spreading misinformation, not spreading disinformation even. You just seen something and you misinterpreted, or you just flat out didn't know what was happening and you thought you knew what was happening and you just said it, and then someone comes up to you, hey, dick fuck, you're wrong. You don't understand anything about this subject. Why don't you go skibbity yourself, you garbage human? Do you see how that sounds? Right? They're right. Sure, they're right. But does it help that you're being such an asshole in the process? No, it doesn't help. And the things that Bret Hart typically, quote unquote, whines about, he's right. But no one wants to hear it coming from you, Bret, when you're such a hardcore fucking mark about yourself. And also the things that you're saying, even though they're outright right, they're coming from a place of, I don't know what you want to say, like old men yelling at the clouds, right? And I get it, because I get those same people who come in my comment section, they say things like, oh, wrestling has passed you by, old man. Leave it alone. The ruthless aggression era, the attitude era, it's gone. I know. But the fundamentals, right? And I could be a bit of an asshole myself whenever I talk about these things. You know, I go really, really hard at the younger generation for the things that they do, the things that they say. But typically, I like to think that it's an answer to them initially being assholes when they're pushing propaganda, when they're pushing nonsense, and they expect people to eat it up, or you're not, quote unquote, a wrestling fan, right? So yeah, I could be a bit of an asshole myself, but it's only reciprocating the energy that's being put out there. That's typically how I engage with people in my comment section. You know, like, never do I come at anyone initially crazy. Anybody that I respond to in a rude way, they started 100% of the time. No, 99% of the time. There are some times where I can, you know, read the room wrong, and I'll be the first person to apologize if I actually came at you some type of way and you didn't mean it in that manner. People will tell you in the comment section. I've done it probably once or twice, maybe 3 or 4, 5, 10 times, 20 times maybe. Had the channel for like 6 years now, bear with me, folks. But when Bret Hart does it, okay, it just comes off as so disgruntled. It comes, and on top of that also, taking all of this and even the Gunther video into context, and you hear the way Bret, it's like a Donald Trump complex in the manner of, like, you know, like, if you're on Donald Trump's team, or if he likes you, no matter how good of a job you actually did or how bad of a job you actually did, it's, he's the greatest of all time. He was the best. Let me tell you something. He did the job better than anybody I ever seen do the job. He was the greatest of all time. As a matter of fact, he was nearly better than me. Not better than me, of course, because I'm Donald Trump and he's nowhere close to me. But if he hates you, it's, what a moron, what an idiot, he was the worst, he could die today, and I probably wouldn't even take the time to piss on his grave. I wouldn't look at his children and give them any lollipops. No matter what that Epstein file says, I would not give them any lollipops. That's how Bret Hart comes across. He comes across as a person where it's like, if you are on his side all day, gratitude all fucking day. If he hates you, oh boy, no matter how good you happen to be, you fucking suck to him forever because you said something bad about the great Bret Hart. And at that point, it's like, it ruins your stances sometimes, ruins your credibility because of the double standards that you're applying. And on top of that too, again, the way that you come across when you actually put forth the message, it just comes off as a person who doesn't want to see the furthering success of the wrestling business. I may hate the wrestling business today, personally, talking about myself, Millennial Smart, but I still want to see the furthering of the business. You know what I mean? I still want to see the best of the business. And maybe that might be the wording as far as how Bret comes across, but that's not how his attitude comes across. It really does come off like, well, you know what? Back in my day, fuck this. Fuck all these people. Fuck all of them. Fuck them. They don't like what the fuck I'm saying. They don't do the things that I want them to do. Then fuck the wrestling business and fuck the wrestlers who participate in the wrestling business. And these fans, well, they can kick rocks also. They're most likely American anyways. That's how it comes across. But let me hear your thoughts down in the comment section below in regards to how you hear and see what Bret is saying. This man legitimately said that Hulk Hogan passed away and therefore we should appreciate me more. And I know people are like, Devontae, don't take that out of context. I think that's more so alluding to the fact that, you know, Hulk died, Bret's getting older, you know, appreciate him because, you know, you never know when he could pass away or whatever the case. But yes, I understand that's the context underneath it. But once again, as I said, it's the wording, it's the phrasing, it's not reading the room. How do you not see that as being highly fucking egotistical with the way you said that? The way you conflated that with you not getting a fucking chair because you most likely showed up late. Like, there's entitlement, there's narcissism, there's an inflated ego that goes along with this, that it's just, it just hurts your premise and it hurts your position with whatever you say going forward. And I wish he would fucking stop because he has very insightful, very noteworthy advice that most people should take heed of. But when it's a guy like this saying it, and he continues to say it over and over again, and he does it, it just undermines his credibility in my opinion. But like I said, call me soft in the comment section below. As always, my name is Devontae, aka Millennial Smart, and I'll be catching you guys later. What a fun article. What a fun video all overall. He's such a fucking hater. But I love you still, Bret. You're my favorite hater. Deuces, Pete, Ice.